On today's episode of WatchJRGo, Concrete, Day 2. What is going on, guys? I'm WatchJRGo, and like I said, I'm here in the building, and these guys are getting set up with their air jackhammer today, and they are gonna knock out everything that's left in here. So hopefully this goes quickly for them. The air jackhammer should make a big difference compared to the little electric one. And by the way, you know Milwaukee makes a cordless one now, like a MX Fuel jackhammer. Might have got this job done. Maybe I need that. Anyway, let's jump straight into the time lapse and watch some of this magic happen. See just how far we get. I'm gonna make a fuel run. It's time to go get a bunch of diesel for the heater and stuff. Yeah. I didn't realize what a difference a real jackhammer makes. Sorry. I'm gonna sprint outside here so you guys can hear me. That guy, he's been here for like 1 minute. He took like 2 stabs at it and all the concrete came off the side of that piece of I-beam there. So, man, the air jackhammer makes a huge difference. Mind-blowing. It is now 7 p.m. and as you guys saw on the time lapse, these guys kind of got nowhere. They rented this compressor, brought over an air jackhammer. Here's one of the big issues, right? So when this thing starts up, it only runs 40 to 60 PSI. Well, the guy ran this compressor at 40 to 60 PSI while we were doing all of that for about 3-4 hours, which really beats your body to death. Those guys are champs, right? The rest of his crew like abandoned him here, just left one guy to do all the braking. Well, he was sitting here with the thing barely running all day long, so he had basically no jackhammer. Once I came over, I showed him how to hit that button after the warm-up, and it was a monster all day, basically, because it runs 120 PSI at high volume, and he made a ton of progress, but not enough. Honestly, one guy with a jackhammer, it's just not gonna cut it. So after I posted an Instagram story earlier talking about how much I don't wanna run a jackhammer gun in my life, because I ran it for like 30, 45 minutes, my buddy Jason reached out. They own Holland Paving. And he said, you know, I have like real skid steers with jackhammers, and that my brother reached out yesterday and was like, oh, they brought that little terrible Bobcat. It's like a T765. It's like a no horsepower baby turbo Bobcat. And he wasn't getting anything done with that jackhammer on that. It's because that Bobcat does not have the high flow hydraulic pump for the attachments. And it's probably the wrong end on the breaker and everything like that. It's just been a whole thing where nothing went right. And now Jason brought a real Bobcat from a real paving company that has real power, and I think we're gonna get this actually done in 20 minutes. It seemed like we were doing well this morning, but we were not. No progress. Now, it's go time. Let's get Jason in here, and we're gonna knock this out, and then I'm gonna send the other concrete company a text and tell them that they don't have to do anything before tomorrow.
What? That's power? Huh? That's power? Yeah. That's baller, man. I guess it's a little too heavy to open on your own, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, those are some massive ramps.
So you brought the big boys out here.
Yep.
I like it. I'm excited.
Okay, Jason's pulling the big boy jackhammer in here, and then he was like, hey, one of the hydraulic lines on mine exploded today, but he had brand new ones ready to go. That's when you know you've got a concrete company, when they're like, yeah, we got spares. So we have to fix his Bobcat, and then jackhammer time.
Now that's a jackhammer.
Well, Jason's New Holland was an absolute ripper, and he did manage to get this one out. He ended up breaking this one, which was excellent, doing some donuts, making a very big hole. It was really cool. And then over here, we have finally gotten to the bottom with a lot of help from his machine, and then a lot with the other jackhammer, the hand jackhammer here. And we vacuumed the hole out, and what we found is this. This is the I-beam. There's 2 of these, actually 4 of them total, right? This is, to the bottom, 17.5 inches. That's insane. So the plan has changed from get these out to knock them down a little bit more and cut them off, and they're gonna have to resaw this whole edge, which they're probably not gonna love, but it's just what had to happen to get the big machine in here. And that worked out great until a hydraulic line exploded on that thing again. So yeah, there's a huge puddle of hydraulic fluid right there from that thing. It exploded out of the lines, and they got to replace one of those lines that was brand new. And it's finally time, 3 days after we were supposed to have this job wrapped up. Concrete is getting poured in the warehouse today. So it's been a week. It's been a very long week. We ended up doing a crazy amount of the work here, but I'm happy I'm not doing the actual pour. Let's head inside and take a look at all the rebar work. They're drilling the final holes, pinning everything. So in just moments, well, 30 minutes, the concrete truck should pull up and they should start filling these holes, and we'll be home free after that. Just 30 days of cure time. There's the big hole looking really good. Check that out. Jared came over yesterday with the torch and spent a solid hour cutting all the beams out of the floor. We've got concrete. Check it out. There's a concrete truck chilling inside the warehouse. If you had any doubt about how big these doors are, they're big. And the concrete guys are over here screeting this thing. Super excited to see this done. Oh yeah. Jason from Bite My Bits just dropped by too. He brought over his brand new S550 Mustang, so we were hanging out for a bit. And that's why I didn't get the beginning of the pour, because we were busy having fun. And I think most of you guys have seen concrete come out of a chute before, but we'll get the next hole as they fill it. Also, a dump truck just showed up to pick up all the debris, I think. And these guys are too busy to go deal with the dump truck, which is kind of funny. There is a massive crew of people right here. These guys just showed up in a dump truck and just jumped in and started helping. We've got one of the other guys out here loading their dump truck with all the concrete they took out. Man, running a full-on construction site over here. Kind of cool. At the end of the day, I should have my shot back.
There goes the last hole.
Those concrete guys are absolute monsters. Obviously, everything I was shooting earlier happened in the span of just a few short minutes. The concrete truck showed up at noon, and by 1:30, they were basically done finishing this, maybe 2. About 2 hours to pour, finish, you know, screed, trowel, everything. They knocked it out of the park. And then the place was covered in concrete dust. They did a great job. They spent the next 2 hours brooming the entire warehouse. They swept up the whole place, made huge piles of all the dirt, picked it up with the Bobcat, then they bounced. And then, huge thank you to the friends that loaned me this bad boy again. This is the Tennant T12, the $23,000 floor scrubber. Right on. It's the biggest one Tennant makes, I think. And you can see in the time lapse, there are a bunch of lines in the middle of it. A minute ago, I popped the suction bar off the back and fixed the there's a little spot where the squeegee wasn't fully connected there. So now it's being a boss. It is cleaning this place like crazy. The floors will be perfect again soon. I'm gonna blow all the lifts off this way, and we'll hit it again with this thing to pick up the dirt. That should pretty much get this done. Also, to make sure no concrete builds up in this, I'm dumping it just all the time outside and putting a ton of new water in it. So these things are super simple. It has actually the drive motor. It's a hub drive motor up there. You can see that one wheel. It can turn 180 degrees, so it does perfect turns. And of course, it's got rollers to keep you off walls and stuff. And then it has some rotating brushes right there, spinny brushes, and it dumps a bunch of water on the ground. And then those squeegees direct it backwards, and that squeegee there is a vacuum, and it picks it up. Water goes in here. Listen to that. And that is where it keeps all the gray water, the trash water. So we are ready to, we can go dump it again. I'll show you what comes off this floor. It's also unbelievably fun to drive once you turn it on. You just hit the power button, give it a second, vacuum, and then I'll drive, and there's the brushes. So super fun to drive. I really need one of these. They got a smoking deal on this one. It was a trade-in, and I would love to go find a trade-in because this floor is so big, you really can't clean it by hand. It would take forever. We planned on power washing this whole floor, but it just wouldn't have worked out. Here's the 0 turn radius. Check that out. Man, that vacuum is pro. It almost didn't spill a drop of water after all that. All right, let's head outside and dump out the dirty water. It's just dust and water, so you can dump it wherever you want. Hit the power button before you go outside. You want to give it takes like 10 seconds to pull up the vacuum bar. Here comes the end of the vacuum bar. There we go. Yep, it's up. We're good. Okay, we'll back this thing up. I get it like even with the drain. Pop the cap off the drain and check out how nasty this is. You gotta run away because it splashes everywhere. Also has a little horn. Floor's looking clean. Well, I've got to spend the night cleaning, but the concrete is finally done. We are ready to install these lifts next. And I mean, it's a lot of progress. This was a big deal, getting all the junk out of the floor. And next thing for the floor, epoxy. The epoxy will go on after the lifts. I don't ever plan on moving them. I don't know why people think that I'm planning on ever cutting 12 anchors per lift out and putting them somewhere else. These are very permanent. So like I said, that is it for today, guys. Don't forget to head on over to shop.WatchJRGo.com where you can get cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do. And I will talk to you next time. Zamboni! Yeah, I know, it's a floor scrubber. Zamboni sounds so much cooler, okay?